Welcome to this special edition of CEAg Talks. In this audio-only conversation between me and Brian Sparks, editor of Greenhouse Grower, we talk about the big issues affecting greenhouse and indoor growers on both the produce side and the floriculture market. We recorded this live at the 2025 Cultivate show in Columbus, Ohio, and what follows is just a short segment of our conversation. You can find the full podcast episode at greenhousegrower.com.
AI has been a big topic.
Absolutely.
And I know, honestly, a lot of that starts with CEA. Mm-hmm. So what are you seeing in terms of trends, not just for AI, but for technology in general?
Yeah,
in that
well,
market?
on the AI side, these AI-powered systems developing for crop monitoring, predictive maintenance, optimizing growing conditions.
Sure.
It all really started with seeding and harvesting.
Okay.
But now automation is expanding rapidly into tasks like pruning, pest management, quality control. All of this is in the works. It's all growing really fast.
Sure.
It's all about automation. It's all about efficiency.
Yeah.
Whatever can be done to make things more efficient, so your staff and the growers can really focus on the more important things where you need that human touch, where you need that kind of human involvement. So again, like I said before though, all this technology is being developed, all these AI controls and all of these things kind of trying to centralize as well, creating these control systems so that a grower can work off-site and manage everything that's happening in the greenhouses and really have a good sense of how all the plants are doing and how everything's developing. But again, it's a matter of pricing. You've got to, it's all brand new stuff. We want to get this technology into the hands of these smaller and mid-sized growers, so that they can grow and flourish as well. So we don't have just three giant companies that are for the vertical farmers and the big greenhouse companies as well. You want to make sure that we can get the technology into the hands of those smaller growers as well. So, but I think this speaks to kind of you mentioned this as well. This kind of what you can control. Right. And so kind of the focus with small and mid-sized growers, making sure that they're looking at technology as a tool. Right. What do they need? What do you want? Like you said, you want all this technology, you want all this new stuff, but really looking at what your goals are as a grower, looking at what your specific plan is. Mm-hmm. What technology do you actually need, and how do you implement that in a smart, sustainable way for your business? And
a smart way to get buy-in from your team as well. I was in a talk a couple days ago where one of the focuses was AI is not there to replace or take away the team that you have. Mm-hmm. It's there to make your company better and to make your team be able to work better and take away the monotonous day-to-day tasks that build up in your to-do list that prevent you from getting some of the more strategic decisions and processes taking place. Yeah. So, and that's kind of where AI can be the best resource for all these companies.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Coming out of the pandemic in floriculture, we saw a massive wave of new gardeners, and so the question was, are these gardeners going to stick around? Because we've seen ebbs and flows with that in past years. I think the good news is, and again, just coming out of Dr. Charlie Hall's economic report, one of his major points was that the consumers that we gain, for the most part, are sticking around. Mm-hmm. Now, how they shop, where they shop, there's differences there, but I think that's going to lead to some long-term success for the industry. Again, I think it goes back to how they shop. So, today's consumers are going to be using e-commerce much more. So if you don't have that somewhere on your radar, if you're not using it already, is going to be important. Keeping track of the types of plants consumers are looking for. We've seen houseplants and tropicals and foliage plants emerge quite a bit over the past couple of years. Edibles, and just really being able to, consumers want to get back into the garden, and even if they're not, planting a whole garden, the idea of rooftop pots and porch pots that you can just, grow a small plant right on your porch if you're in an apartment where you don't have the space to put in a whole garden.
Right.
The best growers in this industry are keeping track of that at all times so that they can respond to what consumers are looking for very quickly.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you're seeing some of that in the CEA market as well. Or...
Well, so same sort of thing with the pandemic. It created a whole interest and a need for locally grown produce, and kind of more of an interest there, and people really taking much more of an interest in wellness and the way the whole wellness trend has kind of developed. All of those things, it was the same sort of thing, like wondering as we come out of the pandemic, is that going to continue? And it seems to have continued. People
Yeah.
are definitely interested in that kind of locally grown. And the whole promise of CEA is the ability to bring food production into areas that might otherwise not be able to grow healthy food. So that's not going away.
Yeah.
I mean, that's only going to get worse. That with climate change, with population centers, and with the way things are going in the world, there's going to be a need to bring produce growing capabilities into areas that don't otherwise have access to it.
Sure.
Whether that's through greenhouses, whether that's through vertical farm, complete indoor farming. All of those things are kind of playing out right now. In terms of like the types of produce that we're seeing, leafy greens, tomatoes, those are the big ones in CEA. Herbs. There's more and more mushrooms. Mushrooms are another one and there's a lot of growth in the mushroom industry too for specialty mushrooms.
Sure.
But as well, strawberries. A lot of research going on in strawberries. Microgreens is becoming a very big industry in North America. So there's a lot of focus on looking at different crops that may be able to be grown indoors. There's so many different factors that you have to take into consideration.
Yeah.
But berries, really, because of the whole economics of it, it's expensive to grow in these environments. So really, kind of, there's a lot of effort and a lot of focus on higher value crops, shorter turnaround crops that they can, so there's tons of research being done to the different types of crops that they're going to be able to do. And we'll get there. It's just a matter of time.
I had a conversation a couple of years ago with a grower in this market, and I was asking the question, if you're one of those mid-sized growers trying to find the right market presence for yourself,
the
first thing he said was, you can grow almost any crop in a greenhouse. So the potential for growing something indoors is enormous. His best advice was focus on what you can grow best that nobody else is doing and find a market for it. If you can be that unique producer, and if you have a market for that, that's going to give you the success that you need, hopefully. As long as you're smart about it.
And we're also hearing a lot now, kind of conversely, look in your region. What's the need? What are people clamoring for?
Yeah.
And then is that something you can supply for them? Kind of, making sure, putting the focus there and making sure that, maybe you can create that. Maybe there already is a market, and how can you serve that market?
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's a lot of potential there.
Oh yeah.
It's exciting to see.
Yeah.